2022 record. I'm going to go ahead and give some shout outs to the people over on Rumbles. Appreciate everyone tuning in. What's up, y'all? We are live here on YouTube. We are live here on Rumble. Go ahead and predict the Raiders' 2022 record. Let me know what you guys are thinking. We started on Rumble a little bit early. That's just a reason why you guys over on YouTube should go ahead and give us a follow on Rumble. It's rumble.com/Raiders Report. So some of the things that we're going to be talking about here on today's show is news, rumors, but we're going to be breaking down some post-NFL draft power rankings because as far as I'm concerned, well, we got some stuff to talk about because I know some of you guys aren't going to be very happy where the Raiders are ranked. What up, Ibra? We got 10-7. rdog_76 says 11-6. We will get into some news. We will get into some rumors coming up here in about 5 to 10 minutes from now. I got Dan's going to go 17-0. 17-0 from Diego. Ken P says 11-6. 12-5 from Gabe. Bryce B 13-4. 13-5 from Joshua. Remember, 17 games. We got 10-7 from Daniel Brown, 11-6 from Robert, 12-5 from Lupe. Raider for Life's going to go with a 12-5. King Corona, 12-5. The reason why I'm asking you is because the NFL, they went ahead and they released their power rankings. And I'll tell you where they had the Raiders ultimately ranked. But you know what this show's about. It's about giving the nation a voice. And before I tell you where I have them ranked, before I tell you where NFL.com has them ranked, where would you rank the Raiders if you were doing your own NFL power rankings? Would you put them at 1? Would you put them at 5? Would you put them at 10, 15, 20, 32? I don't know, but I want to know, where would you rank the Raiders? And a lot of times when I ask this question, I understand it. We all bleed silver and black here, well, at least 99% of us, and we can be homers sometimes. And I don't mind it. But these are the type of questions where I want you to be honest with me because it definitely helps me gauge to know where I see my audience working, and it helps me understand what you guys are thinking. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Joey Gatlin's going to go with a 7. Teflon says 4. Chris says 1. We got Juan Hernandez going to go with a 1. 11 from Cavant. Rick Hand says 5. Cody, must be a troll. Justin Black, 9. J-Ax is going to go with a 10. 11 again. We got an 8 from Mo. Andy Tracer says 4. Mo, you got to change your name, man. You almost get me every time. Sel Lal's going to go 8. Dylan E's going to go 8. We got Don't Trip 9. Sober Alcoholic says 5. And then Giovanni Tejada is going to go ahead with a 7. Now, guys, we got almost 500 people watching right now. If you haven't already, please go ahead, like the video. Believe it or not, that kind of stuff, it can go a long way. One of the segments that we're going to be doing here on today's live Raiders Report show is we're going to be breaking down the top free agents still out there that the Las Vegas Raiders could go out and sign. And I have these players ranked from 10 all the way down to 1. They are ranked based on how talented they are, and then also how much they would fit with the Raiders and how much of a big need it is. I also, because, you know, I'm an overachiever at times for y'all, sprinkled in 5 honorable mentions as well. So you're going to see 15 names coming up here in a little bit of free agents that the Raiders still could potentially go out and sign, and they're the top guys out on the market. Now, is there a name out there that you're like, this is a player that the Raiders should go out and get? Chris says Juan. I don't know who Juan is. Teflon's going to go Bradberry. Bradberry's not a free agent. He is still technically on the New York Giants, but don't worry, we're going to be talking about James Bradberry today. Somebody said, let's go get Cooks. You got to trade for Cooks because he got a contract extension from the Houston Texans. Daryl Williams from Joe. We got Daryl Williams from J-Mo. Kyle Van Noy from Juan Hernandez. And Ndamukong Suh from Ken P. Jarvis Landry from Peteman Jones. Williams from R-Dog. Kyle Van Noy again from Juan. We got Dwayne Brown from Esports Gaming. Kyle Van Noy from King Corona. Continue to let me know. All right, Chris says OBJ. Was it just like an autocorrect? Because first time it said Juan. Now we got into OBJ. So those are the free agents. So how about this? We're going to get you guys 5 of the biggest winners and then 5 of the biggest losers after the Raiders 2022 draft. And, you know, I've watched a lot more tape on some of these players, and I am higher on the Raiders draft now than I was after the NFL draft, especially for linemen, because linemen are always hard to wrap your mind around for the simple fact of how are they going to fit with the team? How's the coaching going to go? It's more about fit so much or a little bit less than how good the actual player is. But when I think about winners, which player on the Raiders roster benefited or is a winner because of what happened during the NFL draft? So somebody's going down there, they say Brandon Parker from Joey Ross. Juan Hernandez says Derek Carr. DC from Joey Gatlin. So what I did is I ranked these players from 5 all the way down to 1. 1's the biggest winner. 5 is the 5th biggest winner. And yes, some of y'all have already said it. Juice says Jacobs. Loner says Carr. Seeing a lot more DC starting to flow in now. Also, I see a Jonathan Abram down there. Well, if you got winners, also means you got some losers as well. And I know if you guys want a shout out here on today's show, the 2 easiest ways to do it is to go ahead and super chatting. We will be doing 2 mailbags here on today's show. So if you use hashtag Raiders, you have a chance to get on the mailbag. If you go ahead and super chat, I can already guarantee you a spot either on the mailbag or a shout out here on the Raiders Report. But what about some losers now? Because when you have winners, you also have some losers. So when you look at the fact that the Raiders drafted 2 offensive linemen, 2 running backs, and 2 DTs, what players you thought, damn it, they're probably losers now? Juan Hernandez, Alex Leatherwood, Josh Jacobs there from Ibra, Carr from Raider 508, Jacobs from Joe, John Simpson. Seeing a lot of Jacobs, John Simpson, and Alex Leatherwood. Also seeing something about Trayvon Mullen, which we will go ahead and talk about here in just a second. So what's coming up here on today's live show? The latest news and rumors going on around the Las Vegas Raiders. As always, we got 2 mailbags up on tap for y'all, so use hashtag Raiders or you can super chat. Then I have my top 10 free agents out there that the Raiders could still go ahead and sign after the NFL draft. We'll break all that down. And then on Rumble and on Rumble only, I'm going to give you guys my post-draft winners and losers. So if you want to see the post-draft winners and losers, you might as well go over to Rumble right now. Raiders Report over on Rumble right now, please. Raidersport.rumble. What is it? Rumble.com/Raidersport. I was going to say, I'll get it together sooner or later. All right, y'all. Coming up right now, news and rumors coming up around the Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and we're getting ready to get into the latest news and rumors going on around the silver and black. The first thing that we're going to hit on here is something that makes me a little upset because I always sit up here and say Trayvon Mullen is a good player. However, he always has some injuries and can't stay healthy. Probably about 3 hours ago at this point that I am filming, I was the first one to post on Twitter at MitchellRenz365 that Mullen posted this picture of himself in the hospital getting prepared for surgery. We don't know what the surgery is necessarily. However, it's just another injury flare-up here for Trayvon Mullen, which brings me to the next player that I'm going to be talking about here on today's show. And we got a lot of big-name guys. We're going to be talking about James Bradberry. We're going to be talking about the offensive line. We're going to be talking about NFL power rankings. And the latest going on in the NFL is James Bradberry, cornerback of the New York Giants. According to reports, the Giants are still trying to move on from him. And if the Giants are unable to make a deal, then you are likely to see them release him. Why? Not because he's not a good player. It's because the Giants can save $10 million in cap space, and for that organization, they would rather save the $10 million than go ahead and pay James Bradberry. The reason why I like James Bradberry so much is because he's a hell of a player and has some connections. But I want to know from everyone watching right now, go down in the comment section, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on your laptop, if you're watching on your TV, guess what? Whip out your phone real quick and let me know. Should the Raiders go ahead and sign James Bradberry? Type that Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. My answer is yes. If James Bradberry is released by the New York Giants, you go ahead and you get the deal done. Some people are like, well, why wouldn't you go ahead and trade for him? I don't know if you actually have enough money to go out and trade for him right now. And if you also know a team's going to release him, be patient and wait. The Raiders' current salary cap is $5.8 million, which is 26th in the National Football League. So more than likely, you're going to have to make room for him. Fingers crossed, maybe Bradberry and the Giants, the release doesn't happen until after June 1st. Then the Raiders have essentially, $20 million extra dollars that they're able to go ahead and work with. So you don't have to cut a player to make room for him. But I'm telling y'all right now, I would go out and I would sign James Bradberry the moment he is released. He played in Patrick Graham's defense, which I do really, truly believe is a very important thing. And then you add on top that Trayvon Mullen's getting surgery, the fact that Mullen could never stay healthy. If Bradberry and Mullen were both 100% healthy, I will take James Bradberry every single day of the week over Mullen. You put Bradberry next to Rock Ya-Sin, and remember last season, Casey Hayward, everyone was like, oh, he's old, he's washed up. If you can find a player that knows the defense, it can go a very long way. And the fact that James Bradberry has these connections all the time. I mean, think about it. Bradberry also knows the defensive or the DB coach / pass game coordinator, Jason Simmons. So not only do you know Patrick Graham, you also know Jason Simmons on top of all of that. And when you look at some of his numbers from the past few seasons, 47 tackles, 17 PBUs, 4 interceptions is a good year for a lot of corners. For Bradberry, some people say, it was actually maybe a little bit of a down year. 54 tackles last season, or in 2020, 18 PBUs, 3 interceptions. Then you go back to his time at Carolina. I mean, this guy has always been a hell of a cornerback, not only being able to pick off the ball, but at least batting it down. And sure, once in a while, teams are going to go out and they're going to target him. I'm okay with it. If James Bradberry is the second best corner that we have on our team, because I still might actually say that Rock Ya-Sin could be a slight upgrade, but still, 2 very talented players. And when you look at the past 2 seasons from a coverage standpoint with Bradberry, back in 2020 and then 2021, if you will, so 2020 essentially, 61.5% completion percentage. He was targeted 91 times, gave up 56 grabs. He had 3 interceptions, the 18 pass breakups, gave up 587 yards, 4 touchdowns. Last season, and this is one of the reasons why some people are ripping on Bradberry a little bit. Yes, he gave up 848 yards. Yes, he gave up 8 touchdowns. Yes, he was targeted 115 times for 71 grabs. But if you actually watch the Giants play, that defense was on the field so dang much that those defensive players were sucking wind. They were tired. And that's what's going to happen when you're on a bad football team. Bradberry has shown me when he's on a team that can actually move the football and he's on a reliable defense, he's going to be a good player. I think everyone watching right now, and like the video if you agree, this Raiders offense, it's going to be better than what the Giants offense was last season. So all the time, I'm always telling you, hey, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. Well, why should you do it? Here you go. Raiders videos every single day. We have dropped a video on this channel, at least one video, for the past 3 years. Like, that's no joke there. We go live at least once a week. I'm live right now, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. If there's breaking news, we go live. We're an interactive channel, so shout out to LI Raider 312, Anthony Morales, Brandon Vaugh. I see the super chats you guys sent in. More subs equals more videos. And it's 100% free, man. You got nothing to lose, so hit the subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing. All right, y'all, the next 3 rumors we got coming up here, you're going to see some just win babies, are the Las Vegas Raiders, a top 10 team in the National Football League. Drum roll. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 just win babies, and now that I'm noticing that, kind of looks like Marshall's Saturday night plans. But, yes, 4 just win babies. NFL.com, they released their post-NFL draft power rankings, and the Raiders came in ranked 10th. I see that, and I'm like, okay, I definitely think that the Raiders are a top 10 team. However, I don't really like that they were ranked dead last in the AFC West. And I'm not really surprised. I mean, the Raiders have been ranked dead last the past 2 seasons, and you know what? Okay, whatever. Guess what happens every year? The Raiders don't finish last. The San Francisco 49ers at 5 I thought was a little bit rich for me because you still don't know what you're going to get out of Trey Lance. And if Deebo Samuel's moved, I'm sorry, that's not even a top 10 team. Are the Green Bay Packers without Devontae Adams? They lost a lot of defensive players. Are we sure that they're better? The Denver Broncos, I actually don't have a problem with them being ranked this high for the simple fact of they have Russell Wilson, they have good skill position players, but I'll take the Raiders over the Chargers. I'll take the Raiders over the Denver Broncos. It's just some of these other teams, man, it's very peculiar to me. So let me know, y'all, what you're thinking. And I'm ripping on Sam because Sam's producing, and he's a Broncos fan. For the real ones out there, you know what to type right now. Where will the Raiders, if you were making your power rankings, because over at Chat Sports, which, yes, I make videos over at Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV, there's a lot of times where I get stuck with the power rankings, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to think with your head and not so much with your heart, right? I want to be able to put the Raiders at 1, but the Raiders aren't the best team in the National Football League. So where would you rank the Raiders in your NFL power rankings? I went ahead, I did it, I broke it all down. I had the Raiders at number 8. And some of you are like, well, where did the other AFC West teams fall in? I put the Chiefs over them for the simple fact of that they have been the defending champs. They've gone out, they've done a few things to try to replace Tyreek Hill, but I have the Raiders at number 8. We got more rumors for y'all coming up, but guess what? I got even more videos for you guys over on Locals as well. We're dropping videos, at least 2 videos a week. I'm doing 2 lives this week on Locals because we were hella busy last week. So if you want, you can go ahead and you go to RaidersReport.locals.com, or look at this. We're upgrading here. You can just scan that QR code, and it's going to take you right to Locals. Become a member, or you can become a supporter for $10 a month or $100 for the year. What do local supporters get to see? Well, I dropped this video this morning. Raiders 2022 UDFA grade. You can see all my grades for all 13 of the UDF players. I also went live yesterday, and it was a simple talking about the draft, talking about UDFAs, talking about free agency. So if you like what I do here, you're also going to like what I do over on Locals. Go ahead, join the group. It's RaidersReport.locals.com. Let's go to the next story here, and it's around Alex Leatherwood, the Raiders' first-round pick in last year's draft back in 2021, 17 overall. The Raiders drafted Leatherwood to be a starting right tackle. And ESPN has him listed as the starting right tackle again because they just updated their depth charts. So, is Leatherwood going to be starting at right tackle this season for the Las Vegas Raiders? I'm going to go ahead and give it only one just win, baby, which means it's a 25% chance of happening. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just I personally would not do it. So ESPN, they go ahead, they update the depth charts. And I had a few people ask me, Mitch, did you see ESPN? They updated their depth charts. And I said, yeah. Personally, I don't even look at ESPN's depth charts because I don't know who does them, but for the most part, it's never really all that accurate. So, yes, Leatherwood is listed as the starting right tackle, and yes, Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, or whoever the hell updates Raiders.com, has listed him as an offensive guard and an offensive tackle. So the fact that that happened, I know that these rumors have been going on for quite some time. The issue is this. I'm going to show you a depth chart, and if you think that this is going to be the Raiders' starting offensive line, then that's fine. It's your opinion. But this is what ESPN had. They had Colt Miller at left tackle. No qualms there. Denzel Good at left guard. Andre James at center. Jermaine Illuminor at right guard. And then Alex Leatherwood at right tackle. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to wrap my mind around certain things here or there. Here's the thing, though. I like Leatherwood, and he's working really hard this offseason. I was actually talking to a Raiders player last week about Leatherwood, and he told me you're going to see a different player. Yes, they're friends, but at the same time, we'll see what ends up happening. Here's the issue. Alex Leatherwood doesn't have the footwork to play offensive tackle. When you watch Colt Miller play, Colt Miller is a superior athlete compared to Alex Leatherwood. Leatherwood's a good player, and I wish that they would just keep him at guard because the more reps you get at a position, this might be crazy, the better at it you are going to be. So I watched Leatherwood play long enough. He's not quick enough. He doesn't have the first step that you need to do and play an offensive tackle, and he's not confident in himself over there. That's why he had the amount of false starts that he did. So when I look at Leatherwood, I see his size, I see his footwork, and he got better and better playing guard last season. And I've always said, if you want to get the best out of Alex or a younger player, go put a solid right tackle over there on the right side. That's one of the biggest reasons why I want the Raiders to go out and get Daryl Williams. That's just less things that Leatherwood has to go ahead and worry about. So I will say this, though. one of the very key things that McDaniels and Ziegler have been saying all offseason, that they're going to put the best players out there. They have not guaranteed to anybody that I've seen that Leatherwood is even a lock to start. So would this be a frustrating thing because he was the first-round pick in last year's draft? Yes. But I am telling y'all right now, if you think that Alex Leatherwood is a locked-in starting offensive lineman player for the Raiders this upcoming season, I'm saying that you're crazy. I do think that he is going to start, but he is not a lock to start. Whoever going to be the best 5 offensive linemen that they can put together, those are going to be your starters. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, I've been getting asked left and right, Mitch, give me your starting offensive line. Mitch, give me your starting offensive line. Well, I will go ahead and give you guys my starting offensive line projection. But before I do, remember, y'all, I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter, at MitchellRenz365. And a lot of y'all probably already know the route I'm about to go, and it's because you follow me on social media. Yes, I have certain studio times here at Chat Sports, and yes, I make videos every day. But I also give my opinion. I give extra analysis, extra Raiders news, extra Raiders rumors. Where? On social media. So seriously, hit me up at MitchellRenz365. Now, before I go ahead and give my offensive line, because I feel like if I give my starting offensive line, everyone's going to pick the exact same thing I do, and that's no fun. Yes, I like when people agree with me. That's obviously a good feeling, right? It's like a nice little pat on the back. But I also like when you guys disagree with me. I like conversations, and I like when people can sit down and have an adult conversation with me when we have different ideas. And sometimes, like, I've talked to Raider fans, and okay, you guys can persuade me a certain way. Or, okay, maybe I can persuade you a certain way. So go down in the comments section right now and predict the Raiders' starting offensive line next season. Here's my starting offensive line projection, and hear me out because I know some people are going to freak out a little bit. I have Colt Miller as your left tackle. Denzel Good is going to be your left guard. There's a reason why the Raiders didn't cut Denzel Good. They could have cut him. They could have saved $4.2 million. They held on to him, and I have already heard that they like Denzel Good as the left guard. The one that's going to make a lot of eye openings is Dylan Parham, the third-round pick, number 90 overall this past year's draft. I've watched tons and tons of tape of Parham over the past 2 days. Parham is going to be a starting player this upcoming season. Yes, I'm still going to go ahead and put Alex Leatherwood at right guard, and I'm going to put Brandon Parker at right tackle because there's a reason why they brought Parker back. There's a reason why they gave him the contract that they did. There's a reason why there's incentives on it. I believe that they believe in Brandon Parker. So I'm going to continue to talk about Dylan Parham here. I'm going to continue to talk about Andre James and let you know what I'm all thinking because I know some of you are like, well, wait a minute, what about Andre James? I'll get to it. But is Dylan Parham going to be starting week 1 for the Raiders? I am giving this one 4 just win, babies, and I'm going to die on this mountain. If I were to go ahead and do my Raiders draft grades all over again, I'd probably give Parham a B+ or an A-. This kid is just good, man. Like, if you get time, watch the tape on him. He is a better center than Andre James. He is a better guard than Alex Leatherwood. And if it came down to either Parham or Leatherwood starting, it would be Parham. If it comes down to Andre James or Parham starting, it would come down to Parham. He has legit Pro Bowl potential if he's in the right scheme. Legit Pro Bowl potential if he gets the right offensive line coach. Carmen Brasillo is all of those things, and he's going to fit this scheme perfectly. Plus, did anybody pick up what Dave Ziegler had to say just right after the draft? He didn't say Parham was going to compete at guard. The first position he mentioned was center. Why? Because from what I have been told, the Raiders view Dylan Parham as a center. So the fact that he has that opportunity, cool. He's an extremely high IQ player, extremely athletic offensive lineman, and the fact that McDaniels is going to use a lot of complex run systems. Go watch Parr. He always knows what to do. His eyes are always in the right area. He's going to be able to process defenses quickly, which is why I believe come week 1 of the season, Dylan Parham is going to be the starting center of the Las Vegas Raiders. So what happens to Andre James then, right? Because I know a lot of y'all are asking. And it's not that the Raiders don't like Andre James, but you have to keep in mind, Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, the Raiders organization that is together right now, they didn't commit to Andre James long-term. They have nothing to stick with James. And yes, they restructured his contract around a little bit. And to move on from him, you only save $100,000. So I would see Andre James as going ahead and being a backup center, being the backup guard. Yes, it's another bad move that Gruden and Mike Mayock made, which really shouldn't surprise any of us. But I'm telling y'all right now, Andre James, he might be able to get a guard position, but I think Dylan Parham is going to be the starting center here. So here's my question, and the reason why I'm presenting this one is, who's the worst player on this list here? Because if I'm telling you that Colton Miller is going to be a starting left tackle, and I'm telling you Dylan Parham is going to be the starting center, well, that leaves 3 other spots: left guard, right tackle. And the Raiders have said that they're going to put the best players out there. Doesn't matter where you were drafted. It doesn't matter what your contract is. Why? They are not committed to any of these players here. So, whoever is the worst player on screen is the guy that I do not see starting. If you believe it's Andre James, type AJ. If you believe it's Denzel Good, go ahead and type DG. What about Brandon Parker? You can go ahead and type BP. If you think it's Alex Leatherwood, go ahead and type AL. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and give some shout-outs here to the nation. We got 915 people watching. Juicehead is going to go ahead and say AJ. Matthew DeLong, AJ. Omar Nelson and Manny Villegas, Brandon Parker. We got AL from Zachary Gamble. We got an AJ from Rock and Jock. We got Jax over there saying AJ. Hey, Mitch, keep up the good work, my dude, from Jay Richardson, 350 over on Rumble. Much love to y'all. I'm telling you right now, easiest way to get a shout-out, it's probably by going over on Rumble. But, hey, that's between you and me. We got Sergio, says Brandon Parker. Josh Childs, Andre James. And most of the votes coming in right now are between Brandon Parker and between Andre James, which I 100% agree with you on that. It's a matter of what happens then. Do they kick Denzel Good over to the right tackle? There's only one way to find out. Keep watching the Raiders Report. All right, guys, we will be doing a special show. It's called Rumble After Hours, and we've been doing more Rumble shows here and there. Why? We want to get you guys more content. We want to get you more stuff, and because Rumble is a big reason why we're able to do more Raiders Report content. So coming up here on today's show, not on YouTube, only on Rumble, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 biggest winners and 5 biggest losers from the, I guess I should say 5 biggest winners, 5 biggest losers after the NFL draft for the Raiders. That's only going to be on Rumble. So go ahead, give us a follow, rumble.com/Raiders Report. Coming up now, we got a mailbag, and we're going to do 2 mailbags here on today's show. I see that we got a lot of super chats, and major shout out to everyone who sent in a super. We will start the mailbag off with all of the super chats. Then we will get into the questions. If I don't get to your super during this first mailbag, cool part is we got another one coming up, so please do not hit that panic button. So if you got a question you want answered right now, use hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat, skip the line. It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz ready to answer all y'all's questions, and it's a friendly reminder. This video was filmed on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're going to hit some super chats here first. Let's go to LI Raider 312. With the draft over, what's a good package to get for Bradberry? I don't think that you need to trade for James Bradberry. And again, if it comes out later on that the Raiders did or that James Bradberry was released, just keep that in mind. I think the Giants release him, and then I know for a fact the Raiders will be one of the top teams interested in him, not only because of his connections with the team, but also because of the Trayvon Mullen surgery that's going down on Tuesday. Anthony Morales, Pitt declined Bush, 5th-year option. Should the Raiders look to trade for him? I'm going to say no. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have always been a very good organization, especially at the linebacking position. Is Devin Bush a good sideline-to-sideline player? Yes. He did lose a step, though, after his ACL injury, which I believe came in 2019 or 20. I think it was 2019 or 2020. Regardless, though, ever since Bush first came out of Michigan, I love that he was a really speedy linebacker. Was he a little bit undersized? Yes. However, if the Raiders wanted to use Devin Bush or wanted to go out and get Bush, I would be more interested in trying to do that exact same role for Jonathan Abram, because Devin's only a little bit bigger than Abram, and I've been saying for a while, if you're going to try to get something out of Jonathan, put him in the box or make him a linebacker. Let's go to Brandon Vaughn. What's up, brother? Signing Daryl Williams, most important move of free agency left. Agree or disagree? I agree. Brandon Parker, Jermaine Illuminor, been watching you for years. Love you, Mitch. If I had to pick which guy I have more confidence in, I would actually go ahead and say Brandon Parker at tackle, Jermaine Illuminor at guard. Second super chat from Brandon. You a real one. We need linebackers bad. Who should we look to sign? UDFA or vet? Appreciate you, Mitch. You're the best. Hope to meet you one day. Well, I'm actually hoping to go out to Sacramento to meet up with Raider Ron at the end of May. So if anybody lives near that area, I'll be telling y'all where we're going and we can all hang out. So I appreciate that you watch the show. The number one linebacker that I want the Raiders squad and get is still Kyle Van Noy. I also think Jamie Collins makes a little bit of sense as well. Those would be my top two players. And you can go out and get UDFAs. They're great and all. But UDFAs still do not equal, I think, what a veteran presence would on the defensive side of the football. Delane Trumpet, since you don't think Jacobs gets traded, you're right, Josh is not getting traded this year. Which big-name player has the biggest chance of getting traded? Thanks. I'll say that there's two names that come to my mind. Number one, Trayvon Mullen. The issue is I don't know anyone who's going to trade for Trayvon at this current moment because he's literally getting surgery right now on Tuesday as I am making this video. On top of that, I'll also go out and say Jonathan Abram because the Raiders like Duron Harmon. They also re-signed Roderick Teamer. They also re-signed Dalen Levitt on top of that. I've heard that they like Tyree Gillespie, so it puts you in this awkward situation of what do you do with Abram? Abram, fifth-year option got declined. Maybe a team's willing to go ahead and give you a 6th-round pick for Jonathan Abram. Maybe a team would be willing to give you a 5th or a 6th-rounder for Trayvon Mullen. So, all right, I like where Sam's thinking here. Which Raiders player is the most likely to get traded? So if you guys are going to ask me the question, guess what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you the exact same freaking thing. So which Raiders player on the roster right now is the most likely to get traded? Go down to the comments section and let me know. Cole Cook, Super Chat time. Where in the pick of Dave Ziegler on the phone during the draft or thumbnail a couple of days ago from haven't seen any draft call vids? Well, I got it off the internet. Like, that's just me. I put the fireball on him, if that's what you're asking. But, no, I saw a picture. There's this really cool play school called Google. I typed in Dave Ziegler, and then he was just drinking some water. It might not even been from the draft. I don't know. It's just, that's where it's from. LI Raider 312, outside of Bradberry, any surprise signings you can see? Surprise signings that I could see? I mean, the way that this Raiders organization has gone is they've been very patient, which I can respect. And if they do make a big-time splash, I think it's after June 1st, which I've said definitely a few times here on the Raiders Report. In terms of some other names, they're sticking with guys that they know. So I would say Donta Hightower could be an interesting name. Landon Collins would be an interesting name to me. Kyle Van Noy could be intriguing. Obviously, I would love for them to go out and get Daryl Williams. A wide receiver to keep in mind could be Cole Beasley. But those are just a few random ones off the top of my head. Let's go to Ray Holman. Getting my 6-year-old son's room done. And he said he just wants Raiders gear everywhere, starting with him young. And he can get a shout-out, Madden Cordera. Did I pronounce that right? Madden Sadar? Serta? All right. Hey, guys, I'm not the best with names, which I'm sure you've seen from this point. Ray, hopefully I'm even pronouncing your name correctly. Well, if he's doing anything Raiders-related, if you want to sign a Raiders report something, I might be able to figure something like that. If your son's like, no, I don't want that whatsoever, I don't blame him whatsoever. But good job starting him young, womb to the tomb. I'm all about it. All right, y'all, so remember, if you ever have a question that you want to see featured on the shows, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you join our live shows, which, as soon as we go live, I mean, if you don't have those notifications on, you might not ever know that we even go live. So there's literally a bell underneath the video. You click that, you click all, and then when I go live, it pops up on your phone, and then you can join the live shows. That's how you see these mailbag questions being answered. And if you have any other questions whatsoever, remember, you can always ask me in the YouTube comments. I try to go ahead and check those out on the weekly basis. All right, another super chat coming in from Brandon. And Illuminor is better than Leatherwood. I think it depends. Jermaine Illuminor at times last season did show that he was a better option. And I also think that Illuminor, we'll say, has more connections with the Patriots staff that's coming in. But the words money talks, I think definitely speaks volumes here. The Raiders coaching staff in right now gave gave Brandon Parker, let's say 2.5, and they only gave Illuminor, let's say 1. I do not think that Leatherwood is better than Jermaine Illuminor at this current moment. However, you know that you got to try to get something out of Leatherwood. Like, Alex Leatherwood's upside is much higher than Jermaine Illuminor. But, yeah, I'm not totally against the idea of I might have more confidence right now in Illuminor at right guard than Leatherwood. However, I want to see what Leatherwood can do, and for that, I'll put him out there. Let's go to Daniel Guerrero. Harrison Graham has the Raiders going 9-8. I mean, that's Harrison's opinion. I said just a few days ago I had the Raiders going 10-7, so we're not that totally off. I think the Raiders are a very good team, but you're in a very tough division, and you're in the AFC. The AFC is going to beat the crap out of each other. Like, you got 2 tough games against the Chiefs. You got 2 tough games against the Chargers, 2 tough games against the Broncos. You could easily split those, and then you have other tough matchups, and the Raiders are going to win some games they shouldn't, and they're going to lose some games that you shouldn't. I see this team as being 10-7. I hope that they can go 11-6, and I hope that they can surprise me, and that's probably good enough for the AFC this season to make the playoffs. Now, if you haven't already, join the Raiders Report over on Locals. How do you do it? You can go to the link, RaidersReport.locals.com, and you're like, Mitch, what kind of content am I going to find over there? You're just going to find more draft analysis, more free agency, all that good stuff. And if you're like, I don't want to go to that link down there below, cool. I got a QR code now. Scan the QR code, become a member. You can become a member for free, which you still get content as a member, but you only get like a tip of the iceberg. Like, imagine you want something and there's 100% of something. Being a normal member, you get like 10, 15%. If you become a local supporter, that's when you go ahead and you get everything else. Like Raiders and Chill after the 2022 NFL Draft, this was a free video for all members. However, if you're a supporter, then you could have gone ahead and you could have saw this video, Raiders 2022 UDFA grades. I know I make you guys a lot of content over here on YouTube, but I got a commitment to excellence, not only to the Raiders, but also to Raider Nation. So if you want extra videos, go ahead, join us, RaidersReport.locals.com. Super Chat, Cameron Sprout, Eagles got the steal of the UDFA round, Carson Strong. If you were to ask me which player could probably be flipped for the most in the future, it wouldn't surprise me if the answer was Strong. And a lot of times that's why I like taking dart throws on quarterbacks. The issue is I don't like the quarterback that the Raiders took a dart throw on as their UDFA. My Vibe Raider. I'll drink to that. That's a hell of a name. Mitch, love the show. That is an elite name. Everyone down in the comment section, grade that name. Honestly, it probably should get a D, but I'm going to go ahead and give it an A. My Vibrator. That's amazing. Let's go to Rolfo. Do you think Trey Regis makes the team? No, I don't. I know Trey was the fun player that everyone kind of fell in love with last preseason. Just like a few years ago, everyone fell in love with Chris Warren. It's easy to fall in love with the running back position. It's just, how many backs is this team going to keep? I know Josh is going to make it. I know Kenyon Drake's going to make it. You know Zamir White, Britton Brown, they're going to make it. They were drafted. The Raiders went out and they signed Brandon Bolden. He's going to make it. I mean, that's already 5 backs. And then, you know, they're going to keep at least one fullback, so that's Jacob Johnson. I think they cut Sutton Smith. I don't think they end up keeping Amir Abdullah on the final 53, and then Trey, they don't end up keeping him. However, I could see them trying to keep Trey Regis at least on the practice squad. All right, Sam, you heard from the nation, so let's go down in the comments. Y for yes or N for no. Will Trey Regis make the 53-man roster? And only the diehard fans ask questions like that. So major shout out to the person who asked that one. I mean, that's a hell of a question. But B-Rabe, my opinion, Raider Carlos, all typing their N for no. Super chat coming in from Javier Artella. What up, brother? Any chance any of the rookies starting on the offensive line? I think it's Dylan Parham. And he's the guy who the Raiders drafted in round 3, pick number 90 out of Memphis. I see him being the starting center for the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, Taylor Munford's another very sneaky name to keep in mind, the offensive lineman out of Ohio State. I had him as my number 153rd overall ranked prospect, so somewhere in the middle of round 5, essentially. Raiders got him in round 7. He's not quite ready to start yet, but could potentially be a name to keep in mind. I do see Parham starting, though, week 1. Super chat coming in from Ray. Would love to get him something like that. Hashtag nation, hashtag womb to the tomb. All right, Ray. So what I need you to do then is maybe go down in the comments, put in like your Instagram handle, or send me a DM at Mitchell Renz 365. That way I can get a shipping address or something like that, and I'll sign something, or I'll take a picture and I'll try to get you something. That way you guys can make your son's room a little bit more Raider-esque. So remember, guys, we get a lot of questions here during our live show. Shit, we got 950 people watching right now, and I've never waited in a line of 950 people. At least I don't remember I have. It takes me back to my days when I was a kid going to Knoebels, and if you don't know what Knoebels is, it's the world's largest free amusement park about 10 minutes away from my hometown, so shout out to Knoebels. But I also remember, Six Flags. I remember waiting on all these crazy lines. Essentially where I'm going with this is don't wait in those lines. DM me your questions on locals because I'll get to them a lot quicker. Daniel Keenan, what up, dog? All I have to say is James Yoder needs a shot. Bam, you're roasted. So when we were doing our live NFL draft coverage, James was doing the whole thing from The Office. Boom, you're roasted. Boom, you're roasted. Or boom, roasted. That's what we were doing. And then James was roasting a whole bunch of Raider fans. And Daniel already sent in one. I mean, if James wants to come in and take a shot, I'm not drinking this week. And hopefully you guys can understand that. I am not drinking this week because of the amount Chugs and I drank last week for the draft. What up, Rev Matty? Everyone is talking about Jacobs losing his job. What about Kenyon Drake? Why is he safe? Well, I think Zamir White is a lot closer to the style of running back that Josh Jacobs is than Kenyon Drake. But how about this? You guys can go down to the comments right now. Let me know who's the better running back, Kenyon Drake or Zamir White. Type KD for Kenyon Drake or type ZW for Zamir White. The reason why that Drake's contract is still safe is because they've already restructured his deal. So essentially, if the Raiders cut Drake next season, they owe him $7.7 million. And I just don't see why you would do that when Drake can help you out not only at special teams, he's also a good pass-catching running back. If anything, the signing of Brandon Bolden impacted Kenyon Drake more than the signing or the drafting of Zamir White. Let's go to Andrew, but you know what, Daniel? You called out my boss, and he's here. Daniel is... I don't want that. No, I can't, dude. You can go ahead. I literally just said no shots. Sam's going to take a shot for me, which I'm glad. So Daniel Keenan says, all I have to say... I got to move over. All I have to say is James Yoder needs a shot. Bam. You're roasted. Cheers to Sam. Is that Jack? I think that's Jack. A little bit of Jack in your life. So, Daniel, appreciate the super chat. Shout out to James Yoder for coming on, being a real one. Don't call me out for not taking shots this week. Hopefully you guys can understand. I'm detoxing this week. We're on a big old detox here at the Raiders Report. Let's go to Andrew. You think we win the Super Bowl? Do I think it's possible? Yes, of course it's possible. The Cincinnati Bengals were 4-12 in 2020. They go ahead. They lost the Super Bowl, but it shows that you can make a transformation. This Raiders team is better than what they were last season. It really comes down to, are you playing the best football at the end of the year, which over the past 3 seasons, I don't know if I could 100% say that that's been the case. Yes, the Raiders went on a 4-game winning streak last year, but Carr wasn't playing all that well. The defense is what stepped up. Josh started to play well. You need to be able to get that right mojo. Can they do it? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But that doesn't mean I haven't put $10 down on the Raiders to win the Super Bowl. I did it at plus 3,300 odds. Let's go to Javier Tello. Shout out to y'all putting in work always. Raiders! I appreciate the recognition. We do have a commitment to excellence, but we put in that work because you guys watch. You support. And when I say like the video, you do it. When I say subscribe, you guys do it. So as long as y'all have my back, I'm telling you this. I got yours too, and I'm going to continue to pump out that content. Coming up here on our live Raiders Report show, we're going to get into the top free agents still out there after the 2022 NFL Draft that the Raiders could potentially sign. So let me know, who is the one free agent, if you could pick right now, that the Raiders should go ahead and sign? Let me know. What are you thinking? The number one free agent that the Raiders should sign. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give some shout-outs here. Also, shout-out to Sonia Wilson. Raiders are my second favorite team. If you guys end up getting Clowney, it's over with. Interesting. So, Sonia, watching the Raiders Report, sounds like you're Clowney fan. I don't know which team that means you're a fan of, but hey, let me know. Devonta Williams, shout out to you, my dog. We got Darian Bland from My Opinion. Clowney from PG 2869. Zachary Daryl Williams. Daniel Keenan. I see the super. We will get to it in the second mailbag. So we're going to do a free agent segment, and then we will get in the mailbag. And Sam's telling me, hey, you're going to be the very first question. So shout out to you. Daryl Williams or KVN, Kyle Van Noy. Okay, from Manny Villegas, Kyle Van Noy from Juan Hernandez, CP541 from Clowney. We got Joe Wilkins says Akiem Hicks. Van Noy, somebody said go out and sign Chugs. Well, Chugs right now is in the office, and to be honest, Chugs would be a lot cheaper than all the players that you're mentioning right now. There's no doubt about it. Now, not only are we going to do a free agent segment here on YouTube, I'm also going to do a special segment over on Rumble and Rumble only. It's what's known as Rumble After Hours. And when I'm on Rumble, I can say whatever the hell I want, and it's a pretty damn cool thing. So the link is below. Go ahead and give us a follow over on Rumble right now at rumble.com/Raiders Report to watch my 5 biggest winners and 5 biggest losers after the 2022 NFL Draft for the Raiders. Coming up right now, though, we're going to get into the top free agents still out there on the board that the Raiders could sign. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, I'm going to go ahead and rank the top 10 free agents still available after the 2022 NFL Draft. And the way that I have these players ranked is overall how talented they are, how much of a need it would fit for the team, and if they would just be a good fit with the overall roster in general. And on top of that, I also gave you 5 honorable mentions, so I know I'm doing my part. I will say this, though. As it stands right now, the Raiders' salary cap is at $5.8 million, which is ranked 26 in the National Football League. So if you're going to go out and sign some of these dudes, you will either have to make some money move around, you're going to have to cut a guy, but I've seen if you want a player bad enough, you can make it work. Or we just wait until after June 1st to get that extra $20 million from Corey Littleton and Carl Nassib, and then we can really go ahead and splurge. Spam splurge down in the comments. Seriously, though, don't miss out on any of the shows. If the Raiders go out and they make a big-time signing, if they go out and make a big-time deal, we will be going live here on the Raiders Report. So subscribe for the best Raiders vids on the internet. Turn on those notifications. See that bell? Click that bell. Click all, because when we go live, we like to party. We like to have a good time. So if you missed those Oakland-style tailgates, I try to give you Raiders news, and the Oakland-style tailgates, we're partying, we're having a good time, but also breaking down the news. All right, let's get into my top 10 free agents still out there that the Raiders could potentially sign. You have this offensive lineman / edge rusher, Jerry Hughes, and Hughes is a good player, and for NFL teams, there's always a need for an edge rusher. Why? It's a quarterback-driven league, and in the division that we're in, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, it's not bad to try to get after those guys. 8 straight seasons with at least 15 starts. So you know for a fact that he's at least consistent. And sure, he might not be able to come in and play as many snaps as he once was able to. He is like 33 years old at this point. But he's going to be able to come in and be a good rotational pass rusher. Like, he would be the 3rd best pass rusher on this team behind Crosby, behind Chandler Jones. And for that, I like that ability here out of Jerry Hughes. Let's go to number 9 on my list, and it's defensive tackle Akiem Hicks. Even though the Raiders went ahead and they drafted Malcolm Butler, they went ahead and they drafted, my goodness, what's his name? Neil Farrell Jr. from LSU. There's still a little bit of a need here at DT, and I saw Bilal Nichols and Hicks play well together last season for Chicago. He was my number 1 DT at the start of free agency. Yes, I changed my opinion a little bit between him and Calais Campbell, but I think Hicks is still the top guy out there. 25 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss. If the Raiders still believe that they need another DT, Akiem Hicks is the top player out there. So I'm giving you guys 10 names, and I'm also going to sprinkle in 5 more, but I want you guys to go down in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Rumble, hell, I don't care where you're watching this video, and I want you to name a free agent that the Raiders should go out and try to sign. At number 8 here are my top free agents after the draft still available. It's Riley Reiff, and right tackle still remains to be the biggest positional need for the Silver and Black. I see Reiff being an upgrade over Brandon Parker, so for that reason, if Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels want to stick true to their word of, hey, we're going to put the best offensive lineman out there, Riley Reiff, there you go. There's an upgrade over Brandon Parker. I will say this, though. I think one of the biggest reasons why Reiff is still unsigned is because he thinks he's a lot better than what he actually is. I wouldn't give him over $4.5 million. If Morgan Moses goes for about $5.5, then I value Riley Reiff at $4.5. He played in 12 games last season for the Cincinnati Bengals. He did allow 4 sacks. There was definitely some games where the tape was a little bit inconsistent. But $4.5 million for Riley Reiff, I will take that instead of, let's say, Brandon Parker lives up to $3.5. I'd rather just pay the extra money for Reiff because he's going to be better. At number 7 on my top free agents list, it's Kyle Van Noy, and he can play defensive end. He can play outside linebacker. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run and drop back into coverage. That's the kind of versatility that I like, and I know it's the type of versatility that Patrick Graham's going to like. Not only does he have some experience playing in some Patriots defenses, he's got a good relationship with McDaniels, and he's got a really good relationship with Dave Ziegler. Last season, he bounced around on the Patriots defense, but he still had 66 tackles. He had 5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. His versatility, his leadership would be a really good player to go ahead, bring in here to this defense to help other players learn a new system. So I don't know about y'all. I'm ready to fight, and I'm ready to rumble right now. And I like to win. And yes, the Raiders Report is a very successful show, but I hate losing. And I really hate losing to Harrison Graham, and I really hate losing to the Chiefs Report. So let's change that. I want the Raiders Report to have more followers over on Rumble than the Chiefs Report. Why? Because FKC. I can't stand Chiefs fans. So if you want the Raiders Report, if you support me, if you hate the Chiefs, all I need you to do is go to this link right here, rumble.com/Raiders Report. Give it a follow, and not only that, you're going to get extra Raiders exclusive content. Another easy way to do it is to scan this QR code. Send that QR code to every Raider fan that you know and say, if you hate the Chiefs, follow this. And if they don't do it, then I guess they don't hate the Chiefs. Well, let's go to number 6 here on my list. It's Justin Houston, who, well, he actually played for the Chiefs for quite a long time. Again, edge, offensive, or outside linebacker. I'll continue to go ahead and look for it. Why? It's important. Great veteran leader for a young team. 3 straight seasons with at least 15 games played. Not only is Justin Houston a fun defensive end, yes, he's getting up there in age, but I would love for a player like Malcolm Kuntz, I would love for even a guy like Cleveland Ferrell to learn behind somebody like Justin Houston, who had 34 tackles last season, 4.5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. He's going to show up to work every day. He's going to put that work in, and as long as Justin Houston feels like that he could still play football, I'm going to go ahead and try to put him on my football team. At number 5, and this one makes me a little bit nervous, but you know what? Sometimes when you live in Vegas, you got to roll the dice a little bit, and that's what I'm doing here with Trey Flowers. He played his best football, which is one of the reasons why he got that fat 6-year, $90 million contract a few years ago with the Detroit Lions, was because he played his best football with the Patriots from 2016 to 2018. He is an upgrade over Cleveland Ferrell, and if you're telling me right now that Clee is our 3rd defensive end, I love Max Crosby, love Chandler Jones. But imagine a world if we could put Max Crosby and Trey Flowers as your 2 defensive ends, and then you have Chandler Jones stand up as your outside linebacker edge rusher. That's kind of fun to me. Flowers, I also believe this, would take a cheaper deal to come play for the Raiders. Mitch, why would he do that? Because the best seasons he's ever had have been under Dave Ziegler, have been with a team also coached with Josh McDaniels. Yes, McDaniels on the offensive side of the football, but there's that relationship there. Trey played very well in a Matt Patricia, Patriots style of defense. Is Patrick Graham's defense the same? No, it is not. But I do know this. If Trey Flowers wants to make more money in the future, take less money now, 1-year prove-it deal with the Raiders, and then next offseason, I guarantee you'll make more money. Now, before I get into even my top 4 names, I also want to throw in some honorable mentions. And I think Landon Collins makes some sense. If the Raiders were actually interested in the Honey Badger, Landon Collins, use him the way that Jabril Peppers was used in Patrick Graham's system last year. Hightower. Good linebacker, knows a good defense, good relationship with the Patriots coaches. Jamie Collins, same exact thing. Long, lanky guy, continues to be very productive at an outside linebacker in a 3-4. Janoris Jenkins, he's played in Patrick Graham's system as a corner. If you're actually worried about Trayvon Mullen, if you're worried that you're not going to be able to get James Bradberry, go out and get the Jackrabbit. And then I'm going to throw in the name Cole Beasley for the simple fact of he is a slot receiver. He had 81 catches last season. Some of the best Patriots offenses of all time underneath McDaniels had two very good slot receivers. Yes, I want to see what Bryan Edwards can do. Yes, I want to see what Demarcus Robinson can do. But if you put out Cole Beasley and Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller and Devontae Adams, I mean, those are 4 players right there that have a legit chance to catch over 75 balls. Good luck trying to stop that. All right, y'all, so what is the Raiders' biggest need right now? Because one of the things that I had to debate when I was making this list is, obviously, you got to talk about talent. And the next player coming up here is a very talented guy, but I don't know if it's the biggest need right now for this team. So you got to debate talent, you got to debate need, and then you got to debate how much it's going to cost them. So as it stands right now, after the NFL draft, what is the Raiders' biggest need right now? Coming in at number 4, it's Odell Beckham Jr., and I've talked about OBJ tons of times on this show. He tore his ACL in the Super Bowl, but from what I've read, from what I see, he should be ready to go for Week 1. If the Raiders go ahead and make this move, they have the best offense in the National Football League. I don't care what anybody says, and if you're somebody like McDaniels and Ziegler, that has to be at least a little bit intriguing to you, right? And for OBJ, maybe he wants to take another 1-year prove-it deal. You put him next to Devontae Adams. He's not the main guy. He's not the main spotlight. Now, I would say he should take a 1-year deal with the ACL injury that he's got going on right now. And, again, wide receiver's not the biggest need for this team, but he's talented. And I saw, if you give him a good quarterback, and Derek Carr is a major upgrade over Baker Mayfield, Odell can still be that guy. So, if you want to add an extra receiver, he's the top guy. He's the top wide receiver free agent out there, which is why he made the list. At number 3, and this is where it really starts to get interesting, it's Jadeveon Clowney. He could play defensive end. He could play outside linebacker in Graham's defense. I personally see Jadeveon end up going back to the Cleveland Browns, but if I've learned one thing from watching him, if you need him to be the number 1 edge rusher in your defense, he can't do it. When he's played next to Myles Garrett and the Browns, Jadeveon looks really good. Not only does he not have to be the number 1, he doesn't have to be the number 2. And if you have Jadeveon Clowney, Chandler Jones, and Max Crosby, I understand Clowney's never had a double-digit sack season, but he's also pretty damn good against the run. Yes, he's got some injury concerns always. Clowney, though, $10 million on a 1-year deal. Sign me up for it, man. Sign me up for it. We still got 2 names to go ahead and hit on, and if you watch the show enough, or if you follow me on IG, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know the names that are going to be coming up here. So if you don't, another reason, hit me up, IG, Twitter, at MitchellRenz365. Coming in here at number 2 is J.C. Tretter, and Tretter is an upgrade over Andre James, and he's a massive upgrade over James. I see Dylan Parham starting for the Raiders on the offensive line, but what if you wanted to go ahead and put Tretter at center, and you could go ahead and put Parham at left guard? That makes your offensive line really legit. And if I've learned anything from the NFL draft, Ziegler and McDaniels, they weren't confident in the offensive linemen on the interior that the Raiders already had. And Tretter's the best interior offensive lineman still out there. 78.7 overall grade last season according to the PFF. An 83.7 pass blocking grade. 74.8 run blocking grade. Last year played in 16 games, allowed in only 1 sack. Very, very smart human being, and I'm not just saying that because he went to Cornell. Listen to what coaches say about him. Smart player, could help out the offensive line, and he's had an over 70 PFF grade in 5 straight seasons, I believe. J.C. Tretter is a hell of a football player. But coming in here at number 1, and I've been trying to get a hashtag trending, hashtag Daryl to Las Vegas or Daryl to Vegas. I put it out on Twitter. Daryl Williams is the top offensive tackle, or at least the top right tackle still available. And the biggest question mark for this team is who the hell is going to play right tackle. On top of that, having a reliable veteran at that position, it helps out the right guard, because then the right guard can rely on just their need. I think one of the biggest reasons why Leatherwood at times struggled at right guard last year is because he had to worry about Brandon Parker on his side. So you have Daryl Williams at right tackle. You let Alex Leatherwood learn the guard position and be a solid guard. You have a solid center then, hopefully, in Dylan Parham. Left guard is Denzel Good. Left tackle is Colton Miller. Daryl Williams should be the Raiders' number 1 flipping priority, and if it's not, shame on them. So when I go back and I look at a lot of these numbers here, the reason why Williams got released last season by Buffalo is because he couldn't play guard, which I'm always a big believer, if it's not broken, why are you trying to fix it? And every single season that Williams has played, right tackle, he's been really good. So I want you to look at these numbers, and I'll explain to what's on screen. In 2021, his PFF grade was 67.5. He played in 571 snaps at right tackle. He also played in over 600 snaps at offensive guard. The best years that Daryl Williams has played, the majority of the snaps have come at right tackle. So in 2020, 79.4. That is a very good grade according to the PFF. Over 1,000 snaps at right tackle. Cool. 2019, he was playing left guard. He was playing left tackle all over the football field. Worst season. Why? He didn't play a lot at right tackle. 2017, because 2018 he didn't play. 2017, over 1,000 snaps at right tackle, a 77.2 grade. Right when he first got into the NFL, 67.5 overall grade, because he played the majority of his snaps at right tackle. So what am I saying? If you put Daryl Williams at right tackle, he is going to be a very good right tackle. So what do you guys think? Those were my top 10. My top 10 free agents still out there after the NFL draft. I'm not ranking it based on those are the guys that the Raiders have the most interest in. I'm simply ranking it off of those are the top free agents still out there that if the Raiders wanted to go ahead and maybe spend some money, that they should look at this list. So you guys go ahead and let me know who is the number one free agent that the Raiders should sign. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and give some shout-outs here before I go ahead and get into the next mailbag. I do need a sip of water, and if you guys are having a good day, if you're having a good time watching the show, please go ahead and like the video. Oh, I need water. It's been a hell of a week, man, which I'm sure if you guys have been watching, you all know. So what do you think here? Vincenzo People says Trey Flowers. Terrence Miner says water. Yes, I'm drinking water. I'm trying to stay afloat. Raider Nation Trish says Daryl Williams. We got another vote coming in and says you should drink some Kool-Aid. Patrick B's laughing at me. Still Williams. Clowney for sure from Sonia. Williams or Clowney from Zachary Gamble. Continue to get those votes coming in here. Who is the number one free agent that the Raiders should sign? I got Terrence Miner says Williams. Water, super good. It's also wet from Brian H. Drink none. Clowney from Sam On. D's Nuts from Ethan Klein. And then Rustin Long's going to go ahead and also say Daryl. All right, guys, we do have a mailbag coming up here on today's live show on YouTube. But after the mailbag, I'm going to end the live show on YouTube, and then I'm going to go over to Rumble and Rumble only. So if you actually already want to head on over to Rumble, I don't blame you. It makes a lot of sense. So shout out to the people over on Rumble right now. Raider for Life 88. Gatlin Gun 1862. I got Josh Childs 209, and then Jax. If you want to shout out, go ahead, give us a follow on Rumble and spam Raiders down in the comments. If you're like, Mitch, how do I go over there? You use this link right here, rumble.com/Raidersport. That's also going to be available for y'all in the comments and in the description of today's video. So go ahead and click it, follow, and let's pass the Chiefs report. All right, y'all, we do have one more mailbag here, so make sure you're using hashtag Raiders, and make sure that you're sending in those super chats. If you've sent in a super chat, don't worry. We haven't missed it. We got Daniel Keenan, Patrick B., Daniel Guerrero, Cameron Sproul, Def Halo, and then Raider Hunter. We will get to all of y'all super chats here in just a sec, but I do need a sip of water. And yes, it's water. Shout out to Panda Subs for the mug. Y'all ready? You guys ready for the mailbag? If you are, go ahead, like the video right now. We're at 420. I know it's a very nice number for a lot of Raider fans, but let's get that number a little bit higher here. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it is mailbag time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go ahead and do so. Click that big red button underneath the video, and if you're a diehard fan, send that link to another Raiders fan. You can click the share button, text it to somebody. The more subscribers we get, the more content we can make here on the Raiders Report. This first question that's coming in is from a super chat during our live show on Tuesday. What up, Daniel Keenan? Mitch, what do you think about Kuntz for this upcoming season? I anticipate him to have a better year than he did last year. I think one of the most frustrating things for me was I knew Carl Nassib wasn't going to be around, and I just wanted to see more out of Malcolm. Like, can he be a reliable player? I know the Patriots were actually interested in Malcolm Kuntz when he was first coming out of Buffalo in the 2021 NFL draft. I would say, though, he's going to be a rotational edge rusher. He might not even be playing much DM. Would not be surprised if he lines up more as an outside linebacker in pass rushing situations. What up, Patrick B? Appreciate the $20 super chat, my dogs, excuse me. We have a bunch of money June 1st. I feel like there is more to come from the front office. How is Chuck? First off, yes, there is more to come from the front office, and I do see the Raiders going out and making another move a little bit later on. What's going to be interesting about this time is, though, I got a bachelor party from June 1st to June 5th. So if I go live, I'm going live for my buddy's bachelor party. It's going to be a wild time. And Chuck's doing well. And Chuck's my dog. For those of you that do not know, if you guys want to stay up to date with everything going on around my dog, you can go ahead and follow him on Instagram at It's Chuck the Pup. Patrick, appreciate you asking. Daniel Guerrero, the Raiders' offense is going to cook the Chiefs. I hope you're right. I know the Chiefs lost the Honey Badger. He's now with the New Orleans Saints. They lost a few key pieces on that defense. And why? Because when you're paying other players as much as you are, it is a little bit of a head-scratcher. But personally, I think if the Raiders are ready, they're going to be able to roast almost any single defense out there. What's going to be the detrimental factor to them is how does the offensive line for the Silver and Black hold up against teams like Kansas City has some good edge rushers, like the Chargers that have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. How do they stack up against teams that have legit edge rusher talent? Cameron Sprout, you're next up here on the Raiders Report. Seriously, Mitch, what one or two more pieces would absolutely put us in the Super Bowl contention? Name, please. Daryl Williams at right tackle is by far the number one guy. And then if I were to say on the defensive side of the football, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Jadeveon Clowney. Like, it might be kind of crazy. The other name who's not a free agent yet is James Bradberry. I just don't have a lot of confidence in Trayvon Mullen, and I still think that corner is a need for this football team. So if you can get James Bradberry at corner, linebacker Kyle Van Noy, I do believe would go a long way, or somebody like Jamie Collins being that extra piece. But Daryl Williams is the number one guy to go out to make you a Super Bowl winning team. So you see, like, I don't want you guys to cut yourself because that would be a bad thing to say, especially live on a YouTube show. But if you bleed silver and black, if you're a diehard Raider fan, if you see a Raider fan walking down the street and you just yell, Raiders, then I want you to subscribe to the Raiders Report right now. Turn on those notifications. That way you never miss a video. And for the people that watch Raiders Report in May, June, July, y'all are the diehards, and those are the people that I know you bleed silver and black. Let's go to Raider Elm. Great coverage of the draft. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to Jeremy Chuggs, James Yoder, Brett Scott, the entire Chat Sports team for letting us do it. You said something that I haven't forgotten. Oh, boy. You'd be interested in trading for Andy Isabella. Why? So when I was live, and I don't even remember if it was day 3 or day 2. It's all blurred, the whole draft. There was a report that came out that said the Arizona Cardinals would be interested in trading Andy Isabella. And for those of you that don't know, Andy Isabella is a smaller receiver from Arizona. This also did come out before the whole DeAndre Hopkins suspension thing, so it might not be as notable now. But the reason why I said that is because New England was one of the top teams interested in Andy Isabella. He's a very fast receiver. He did play in only 8 games last year for Arizona, was never really able to find his footing with that offense, and it's because they try to use him as just a deep threat. Isabella is a underneath receiver where he can run really solid routes, slants, and be a sidekick. I was going to say side piece to Hunter. He'd probably get mad at me for that. A sidekick to Hunter Renfrow. And if you're telling me right now I could throw a 6th-round pick in 2023 draft for Andy Isabella, yeah, I would absolutely go ahead and do that. So he's got speed. He's got legit 4.4 speed. 4.4 speed, good hands, throw him on the inside, let him be that backup slot to Hunter, let him go ahead and just be out there for those clutch 3rd down, 4th down situations. I'm on board for that. So shout out to Sam for making this. Here's my trade idea. Raiders receive Andy Isabella. The Arizona Cardinals receive a 6th-round pick in next year's draft. Would you make this trade? Type Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. Isabella's got 1 year left on his deal, so you go ahead, you bring him in for a 1 year, you make him prove it, and if he ends up proving it, guess what? You can bring him back. If not, then you don't ultimately need to. Let's go to Def Halo right now. Thanks for the delay, or daily, excuse me. Keep it coming. Are we getting a solid right tackle, inside linebacker, and cornerback away from the top 5? I'll go drink one for you. Go Raiders. Are we going to get a solid RT inside linebacker, cornerback away from the top 5? It's interesting. I would say the only way you're going to get somebody in the top 5 is at right tackle because none of those other players or positions in free agency would be that. So Daryl Williams is the only guy. Let's go to Raider Hunter. Do you think our offensive line has improved enough to open up our run game and give Carr more time in the pocket? Almost 2 a.m. deployed overseas. Well, thank you for your dedication to watching the show, and thank you for, I guess, helping out our country and support. We greatly appreciate it. I would say yes, the Raiders' offensive line has improved, and Dylan Parham is going to be a very intriguing prospect to me because of all his versatility, and he does. He's going to be able to help out the team immensely. On top of all of that, you're hoping that Leatherwood takes a step forward. Having Denzel good, that also helps the offensive line. Brandon Parker, I'm still going to keep my fingers crossed that you can add another offensive lineman. Yes, so the Raiders' offensive line should be better. They ranked in the bottom 5 last season. Joshua Garcia, man, you've been supporting the show for a long, long time, but you've been one of the big-time MVPs over the past few weeks, and I want to let you know that I appreciate it. I see all the contributions that you're making, and if you're ever around, first one's on me, second one's on me, third one's on me as well. Mitch, hope you're doing good. My question of the day is, who has the most eyes on them this season? So in terms of maybe who has the most to prove, I'll try to pick a smaller name guy because technically the answer always is Derek Carr, right? DC always has the most eyes on him. I'll say the player that needs to show up the most this season, oh boy, Josh has to show up. There's no doubt about that. Bryan Edwards has a lot of heat on him. If Trayvon is on the team, I'll say Trayvon Mullen. Jonathan Abram has a lot to prove on top of that. Denzel Perriman's going to have a lot to prove because if he wants to end up coming back, he needs to go ahead and show out. And then a lot of the offensive linemen because, let's face it, they need to light it up a little bit more. So hopefully that answers your question. I know, a lot of guys there. All right, y'all, I am ready to rumble, and I need more followers than the Chiefs Report. Why? Because I hate the Chiefs, and I hate losing to a Chiefs fan. I hate losing to our Chiefs show here at Chat Sports. So when I started today's show, the Raiders Report was at 1,561 followers on Rumble. Kansas City Chiefs Report has beaten me by about 300. Let's change that. To help me change that, follow me on Rumble, rumble.com/Raiders Report for more exclusive videos for extra content. And sometimes I even drop videos over on Rumble before you see them on YouTube. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you can't go to that link, if you can't click on the link in the live show, guess what? You can also go ahead, scan this QR code here. It helps me out a lot. I know I ask a lot of y'all, and for some of you that are like, oh, I can't super chat, by doing things like this goes a very long way for me. So please, if you can take just 30 seconds out of your day today, scan that QR code, give me a follow on Rumble, rumble.com/Raiders Report. Let's go to Eastie Empire. Linebacker is more of a need than speed wide receiver. Couldn't agree more. If all you're looking for is a speedy wide receiver, you technically still have one in Johnson who can be your sixth guy. You just need to go ahead and throw the ball downfield. On top of that, though, even though Demarcus Robinson I would consider as a speedy receiver, considering the fact that he ran like a 4.59 40, he's got long strides. And Demarcus Robinson is a much better, we'll say, 60-yard route runner than a 40-yard route runner because of those long strides. Juicehead 89. It's crazy how some Raider fans turn on Jacobs after one season. I don't think people are turning on Jacobs. I think it's just people understanding that Josh isn't going to be the future running back of this team. The New England Patriots always flip through running backs, and in fact, I gave a really cool stat, at least I thought it was cool, on Monday's show that you got to go all the way back to 1975, 1979 to see a year where the New England Patriots had a running back that led the team in total rushing yards in 4 straight years. If Josh does it this year, that's 4 straight years. I still think Josh ends up leading the team, but they drafted Zamir White for a reason. They signed Brandon Bolden for a reason. They restructured Kenyon Drake's contract for a reason. They like Josh, but they're going to use him this season, and then he's not going to be on the team next year. Let's go to JMO H, a.k.a. Devil J. Mitch, what's the best center in free agency left? And if the Raiders did a new song, who you get to do it and why? P.S. Thanks for the brilliant coverage. I would say best center is still J.C. Tretter, and it's actually really not all that close to me. And if the Raiders did a new song, I don't know what you mean by do a new song. Like, I get a new intro song because I know Graphic Raider used to be my intro song here on the show, but if somebody knows somebody who can make good Raiders music, I'm all about listening to it. Let's go to Raider Carlos. Which position is our biggest need post-draft? Any positions we should add more depth to? Right tackle, linebacker, And I'll still say finding another solid cornerback because we still need another reliable guy next to Rock Ya-Sin. I don't believe in Trayvon. I don't believe that he can stay healthy. And if he was 100% healthy, he'd be a reliable cornerback 2, cornerback 3. But what I don't want is a similar situation what we had last year where we were considering, okay, we can rely on Trayvon or, we can rely on Richie Incognito. I know they're different situations, but you don't want to rely on a guy that's always been showing that he can't stay healthy. Dominant FC 56, the Bears released Nick Foles. Should the Raiders sign him as a backup? No. I know he beat him in the Super Bowl, but no, the hell no to Nick Foles. Daz Grusso, if the Giants release James Bradberry and the Raiders sign him, does that mean Trayvon Mullen is gone? I don't know if it means Mullen is gone because it's a matter of what are you going to get from him at this point, because if a team trades for him, 5th round pick in the 2023 draft, I'd rather just hang on to Trayvon. I will say, though, he had surgery on Tuesday, and he did just go live on his Instagram, or he's actually live right now, so I'm kind of curious of what exactly he's saying or doing, so I'll try to figure that out after today's show. But if they do get Bradberry, Bradberry's obviously the starter. So if the Raiders were to go out and get Bradberry right now as I'm making this video, it would have to be for a trade, though I see them being patient and waiting. How about this, though? Is there a player out there after the draft? Because what always happens is certain guys' reports come out, like N'Keal Harry, perfect example. N'Keal Harry trade rumors have popped up. Nelson Aguilar trade rumors are starting to pop up. So name a player that the Raiders should go out and trade for. What up, Lee? Should the Raiders pick up Julio Jones? I'm going to go ahead and say no. And it always depends on how much money, right? It depends. Like if I was Julio, to be honest with you, I would wait to see if Deebo Samuel leaves San Francisco, because then I'd try to go to San Francisco, repair up with Kyle Shanahan, or I'd try to go to the Indianapolis Colts, play with Matt Ryan again. It's just you're going to have to pay him way too much money, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to pay $10 million to Julio Jones when I could invest that money in Daryl Williams. I could invest that money in the defense because I just think Father Time has caught up to Julio. He just can't stay healthy at this point. We got a lot of people watching the live show, and I appreciate every single one of y'all that come across it. But remember, I can't get to every single question, and for that, I am sorry. But if you do have an extra question that you need answered, DM it to me on Locals. I answer my Locals DMs now, so please, if you ask me it, that's where you can get a hold of me. You can go ahead and give me a follow, I guess, over on Locals. Become a member at Raidersport.locals.com. Anthony Parks, have you seen the Raiders' schedule yet? It's crazy. Well, the schedule hasn't been released. The schedule gets released May 12th. I have seen the Raiders' opponents, and yes, the Raiders' opponents are scary, which is why I still say that the Raiders go 10-7. Maybe they can go 11-6. What up, Corey? Is Rock Ya-Sin a number one corner, or do we need 2 cornerbacks now? I don't view Rock Ya-Sin as a true number one lockdown corner. I view him more as a 1B/2. That doesn't mean the Raiders need 2 cornerbacks, though, because 1 corners don't grow on trees, right? Like, I would say there's probably only, 15 cornerbacks in the National Football League that I would be like, all right, this guy's a true number one lockdown corner. Rock Ya-Sin is good. He was drafted number 34 overall out of Temple. He's a very tough player, and Raider Nation is going to love him because he's the first guy in, last guy to leave mentality. It's just the Raiders do need another cornerback, because if you were able to get James Bradberry and Rock Ya-Sin, that's a pretty solid group right there. Ibra, what up, brother? When do you expect a decision on Bradberry to be made by? If cut, will he be a post-June 1st cut? You know, I don't have a great answer on this, and if I was the New York Giants, I would continue to just wait. Wait and wait and wait and wait. Maybe and just maybe a team goes ahead and they can make a deal for him. I would wait post-June 1st, and the reason why I would do that is because a lot of NFL teams are going to get that extra money come that time. However, if a team makes an offer for Bradberry at this point, I think the Giants take it. If not, they should wait, and I hope they do because the Raiders have a lot more money then. What up, Christopher McGuire? I would like to see the Raiders sign a wide receiver, Will Fuller or T.Y. Hilton, regardless of post-injury history because of their speed. I wouldn't want Will Fuller, and I wouldn't want T.Y. Hilton because they have all those injuries. And I think there's other wide receivers, if you're looking for just speed, that you could potentially go out and get. And, if all you're looking for is speed, you have Tyron Johnson, who, very fast receiver, has some of that vertical threat as well. But for Will Fuller and T.Y. Hilton, you're going to have to pay them $6, $7, $8 million a year. I'd rather use that money on other positions of value. All right, y'all, we're getting ready to end the live show here on YouTube, and I appreciate everyone that came across and watched our show. Remember, we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Set a calendar reminder. That way you can join the show in the future. Also, Brian B., if you're looking for a Chuck update, Alex just texted me. He peed, didn't poop. Got it. So 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Always live here on the Raiders Report. And if there's any other breaking news that happens, we'll go ahead and we'll break it all down for you. So what I don't want you guys to miss is our exclusive segment coming up right now for Rumble After Hours. How do you join it? You go to rumble.com/Raiders Report because the live show here on YouTube is about to end. So please, go ahead, go join the show. It's going to be my biggest winners and losers after the NFL draft for the Raiders. So appreciate everyone who tuned in for YouTube. We are heading on over to Rumble right now.